Gears of War 2 wasn't just a sequel, it was a transformation. The first game was gritty, claustrophobic and drenched in horror, but Gears 2, it blew the doors wide open. Epic Games took everything that worked, scaled it up and delivered a campaign that felt bigger, louder and far more emotional. This wasn't just survival anymore, this was a full-scale war. The most immediate change was scale. Gears 1 felt like a small squad fighting in the shadows. Gears 2 felt like an army marching into hell. You weren't just clearing streets, you were part of a massive military operation. The assault on Landdown, the sinkhole collapse, the siege inside the Riftworm, and the final push towards the Locust stronghold. These weren't isolated missions, these were set pieces, designed to make you feel tiny inside a world collapsing under its own weight. Epic Games leaned heavily into spectacle, using Unreal Engine 3 to push the Xbox 360 harder than almost any game at the time. And that shift mattered. It made Gears 2 feel more like the moment the franchise stepped into blockbuster territory. The horror elements didn't disappear, but they certainly changed. Instead of jump scares and dark corridors, Gears 2 focused on emotional horror. The biggest example? Dom's search for Maria. This storyline grounded the chaos with something human. It wasn't about monsters in the dark, it was about loss, trauma, and the cost of war. The moment Dom finds her is still one of the most talked about scenes in Xbox history. Gears 2 traded fear for tragedy, and that shift made the world feel deeper, more mature, and more memorable.
Dom! Are you awake? Dom! Dom!
If Gears 1 introduced the multiplayer, Gears 2 refined it. Epic Games added new maps with more verticality, new weapons like the Mulcher and Mortar, improved netcode after Gears 1 infamous host advantage, and new modes like Submission and Wingman. This was the moment Gears multiplayer became a cultural force. Xbox Live lobbies were packed, clans formed, rivalries grew, and the national meta began to evolve into the style players still use today. Gears 2 wasn't perfect, host advantage still existed, but it was the game that made Gears multiplayer feel alive. And then Epic Games dropped Horde Mode. This single edition changed the entire franchise and influenced the entire industry. 5 players, 50 waves, increasing difficulty, boss encounters. It was simple, but revolutionary. Horde Mode became a new way to play, a social mode, a challenge mode, and a blueprint for future games. Call of Duty Zombies, Firefight, Destiny's Prison of Elders, countless survival modes owe something to Gears 2's Horde Mode. But it wasn't just a mode, it was a legacy. Beyond its big moments, Gears of War 2 had a layer of detail that often gets overlooked. The marketing push was enormous, with the Last Day trailer becoming one of the most memorable Xbox ads of the era. Under the hood, Epic Games pushed the Unreal Engine far beyond what the first game attempted, introducing soft body physics, richer lighting, and environments that felt larger and more alive. Even the Locusts themselves were given more depth, with glimpses into their culture and motivations that made them feel like a true civilization rather than just an enemy faction. All of these elements worked together to give Gears of War 2 a stronger identity, one that elevated the franchise and cemented its place as a defining series of the Xbox 360 generation. And this is where Gears of War 2 leaves us. A world collapsing, a war escalating, and characters pushed to their breaking point. But the story doesn't end here. In the next video, we'll be diving into Gears of War 3, the finale that brought the trilogy to its emotional peak and delivered some of the most memorable moments in Xbox 360 history.